a vast majority of them, and they're going to want that stuff. There's a demand, and that demand is to the tune of billions of dollars. And that's the same with the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War, it was a huge junk running scheme. I mean, that was a big part of the war. If you look into, like Kevin Booth's documentary was really good on the drug war. But if you look in the way our economy is structured, it's almost like drugs have to be illegal. It's almost like that's a part of the whole system itself.
Absolutely. Well, if you go back, Skull and Bones was founded by the British back in 1832 with opium money from the British East India Company. That was their main product after tea. And so when they made alcohol illegal so they could jack up prices, that went away. They then created drug prohibition when before cocaine and heroin was sold in all the drugstores to then make it nouveau riche, to make it popular, to jack up the prices. And so, of course, they've been bringing the drugs in all along, and they made it illegal to jack up the price.
It's amazing that people don't want to hear stuff like this. They hear things like that, and they think it's just wacky conspiracy theories.
Mainline history.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is. It's history, and it's history that's going on right now, and people don't want to believe it. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting how much we're willing to bury our head in the sand.
But why is it bad when there's tens of thousands of studies and now hundreds of uses by mainline medical systems for the HTC, the chemicals that are in marijuana? But then you don't take Prozac, but you like to smoke a little bit of marijuana.
And you're a criminal.
And it's ridiculous.
It's because they can't control it. It's because it's a plant. It's that simple. It's like you can't control people growing a plant. So you have to make that plant illegal. You can't patent it. You can't, pharmaceutical companies, if it's going to kill, 100 of their different products, if marijuana is a healthier, more natural substitute for 100 of their products, they fight against it. What's really fascinating is that Schedule I drugs in this country, the ones that are the most illegal, oftentimes are the safest. Marijuana, Schedule I drug.
Never killed anyone, but Prozac.
Exactly.
They admit over 300,000 deaths a year from prescription drugs.
Well, even crystal meth, heroin, those are Schedule II. Cocaine is Schedule II. Marijuana is more illegal and supposedly more dangerous than all of them. Meanwhile, it's never killed anyone. I always use this statistic. 150 people die every year because coconuts fall on their head. 150. Zero from pot.
Well, a statistic we use whenever they're trying to ban guns using school shootings, and this has been the same every year for decades, there are more football deaths than school shooting deaths every single year.
Here's a statistic I always use when people talk about mixed martial arts, how dangerous it is. More people have died from girls cheerleading since 1984 than have died doing martial arts.
It's those big pyramids they do. They're like 20 feet in the air and fall in there.
Throw them.
Yeah.
4 people have died. 4 girls have died since 1980, I think 82 or 84.
It's something like 30-something a year die in high school football.
Yeah. High school football's rough, man.
Oh, man, I'm not...
A lot of kids if they don't die, they get debilitated.
Listen, I got on the first string, and I was a little guy, and then when I was a freshman, sent me to varsity in a 4A school, and after that season, I said, I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who die, and they're like, there was that one guy that committed suicide, a pro football player, really recently. He was in his 40s, and they said they had a brain of an 80-year-old man with Parkinson's.
Oh, listen, a few times I'd have somebody run through, and some giant black guy run over me, and I'd be seeing stars.
It has to be a black guy.
Well, yeah, of course it was a big black guy.
No giant white guys.
I had giant white guys run over me.
The black guys are scarier.
Well, no, it just yeah, I guess. Well, no, that's who tended to run over me. Yeah,
the white guys kind of let you alone.
No, they ran over me too.
They just.
But I think the few times I got my bell I think the few times I really got my bell rung, it was a black guy.
Well, there you go. The black athlete.
Yeah,
they're taking over.
What's happening in Ultimate Fighting with the athletes?
Well, the UFC is, right now, it's a really exciting time. There's a lot of great fights going on. There's a lot of great champions. Next weekend is huge. It's BJ Penn versus George St. Pierre. BJ Penn is the 155-pound champion, and George St. Pierre is the 170-pound champion, and both of them are pound for pound in the top, 3 or 4 guys in the world. They're the elite.
So they're little and they're super powerful.
Yeah, well, George St. Pierre is really about 185, 190, and he diets down to 170, whereas BJ really walks around at like 165, and he bulked up to go to 170. So they're meeting in the middle. They're meeting at 170, and I think it's just an awesome fight. Just 2 guys that are just born to do this, It's going to be incredible.
So you're pretty, Alex Jones. You're pretty excited about that.
You want to go?
What, go to the...
Want to go to the UFC? Does the wife let you escape to Vegas for the weekend?
My wife lets me do whatever I want.
Look at you animal.
Okay, I'll go to Vegas for the fight.
If you want to go, I'll hook it up.
Hook it up.
I'll hook it up.
Oh, that's crazy. Jason Burmis would kill for that. You know,
yeah.
The fellow you talk to who fills in sometimes. Last time you were on the air, he was in studio with us.
He's the guy from Loose Change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what did he do with Loose Change? Was he...
he did a lot of it. I mean, he worked on, both the films.
Now, I know that, like, Popular Science had, like, a whole magazine article dedicated to...
Yeah, that's Hearst Publishing. Hearst Publishing.
Yeah, is that what that is?
I mean, in the Encyclopedia Britannica, next to the word yellow journalism is Hearst Publishing. And they also own A&E, and they run these dramas where pot smokers are 9/11 truthers and they're killing people and are terrorists. I can play the clip, the latest one. So it's pure propaganda, and they lie. They say, in the Popular Mechanics book, they say NORAD only intercepted one plane in all of its history before 9/11. That was Payne Stewart. And then we go and get the NORAD records, and the NORAD spokesman, after Payne Stewart, bragging, in this year, we've already intercepted 167 aircraft. Now, everybody knows, pilots know that if your plane gets off course, go around a storm, they send up F-16s. So that's one lie. They also said that Building 7 fell because the fuel tank blew up. NIST admits that isn't the case.
Now, the Building 7 thing, if you look at the way it fell, I mean, it looks like a controlled demolition, like more so even than Building 1 and Building 2. Is it possible that it was just a flaw in the construction, that a gigantic raging fire inside the building caused it to collapse like that? Is it even possible?
No, they've given 5 different reasons it fell, and now the 6th. They said the last 5, they were wrong.
Right.
The new one is thermal expansion. It's never happened anywhere in a building before. But that's not even the issue. We have all these firefighter and police videos now where they're saying, get back, they're going to blow it up, get back, and then BBC.
So do you think that they set it up like when they were building it like this?
I believe they meant to fly the Pennsylvania plane into it, and something happened. And I had Pentagon people tell me that the Pentagon refused orders and did shoot the plane down, and that they meant later in that morning to have Flight 93 fly into it, so it was already wired, and that was the CIA headquarters.
Huh.
So they still had to blow it up.
So, but this is what I don't understand. Do you believe that it was rigged, like just prior to the attacks, or do you think that it was constructed with all this explosives in it? Like, how do you think that?
Well, we found out. I mean, if you want me to go through it, I could have you back for an hour sometime and have the physicist and scientist on. It turns out that they did special construction, and that NASA and then the very guys on NIST who are doing the cover-up are the experts on a putty thermite that they use to discouple rockets in their stages.
Right.
And then it's explosive. It cuts through things instantly.
But they had to get through to the frame of the building to install this stuff, right?
In 1999, they did a remodel and added new fireproofing and used a special company connected to the group.
So they set this up from 1999 and they waited until...
Stay there. Here we go.
With food.
Hey, Joe Rogan, you were just saying only in Austin, Texas would you have Alex Jones, the police chief.
Yeah, well, the police chief was saying that. He was doing impressions of you. It's hilarious. He's going, 1 day closer to victory. I've got the documents. The police chief's out there.
Yeah, I noticed he brought bodyguards, though.
He's a little nervous of you.
Nervous of you?
What?
He knows you're the ultimate fighting commander.
I'm just a talker. I just talk.
You know, Joe, I know people that know you, and you actually go to the gym. You get into big stuff with big guys. You actually train with the police, actually. You said a lot of cops.
Yeah,
I mean, you're pretty. And haven't you won
jiu-jitsu.
some awards?
When I was younger, yeah, I fought won a lot of Taekwondo tournaments and some kickboxing fights. But yeah, I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't competed in, several decades.
And I had Chuck Norris on, and I said, who would win between you and Bruce Lee? And he basically said, Bruce Lee was just an actor. I'm a champion. What do you think would happen?
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah.
If I had a bet on Chuck back in the day. Chuck was a badass. I was a huge Chuck Norris fan.
When Chuck was 30 years old, how would he have done an open fighting? He'd have got his butt whipped because of the grappling?
Well, he would have learned it, you know, for sure. Guaranteed. If there was mixed martial arts around when Chuck Norris was around, when he was competing, definitely he would have learned it. And, you know, a guy who's a champion in anything, whether you're a champion in boxing, whether you're a champion